This is from a book of Osho's called Never Born, Never Died. If you were never born, you could never die. And these are Taoist stories. But you'll see these ancient Taoist stories reflect what's going on in our own life. Because some of us, we sacrifice and we give up many pleasures and give up old dependencies to stay with the Guru, to stay with these teachings. We don't live here. We have never lived here. We do in our minds, in our souls and hearts. But although we live in the city, we live in Westchester, we both have moved from one life to the life of yoga, to the life of Ananda Ashram. Our lives are like many of the people here, Krishna Devi and Karuna, Kiranavali, Shanta. We can't imagine a life without this ashram. It sometimes has its ups and downs, like any family, but this is our life. In between, every now and then, you get tired because it's intense. And sometimes you want to go back to total ignorance and spend your life in the Bahamas, totally ignorant, as a beachcomber, not knowing what we have to do, how much work is involved. And it was comforting for me to read that a great Zen master, a great Taoist, I should say, Tzu Kung, who was the chief disciple of Confucius, also became tired. He grew weary of so much study, so much sacrifice. It says, Tzu Kung grew weary of study, and he complained, he told Confucius, I just want to find rest. Confucius said, there's no rest for the living. Confucius was very strict, as you will hear. Osho has this to say. Now, how many of you know Osho, Rajneesh? So you're prepared for an outrageous response to that, right? He was a wild but brilliant, extraordinary teacher. Someone you wouldn't want to meet personally, because we heard that from many people who did meet him. He was not easy, but we spent years, guided by Guruji, inquiring into the teachings of Ramana Maharshi, of Rajneesh, Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. Did I say Krishnamurti? Another one. These were all, you notice, revolutionaries. There was nobody quiet in that group. Every one of them had a passionate response to any inquiry asked. Any inquiry, I should say. This is what he's about to say. So wake up now if you've been sleeping, because this is something that you're going to say. What did he say? Would you repeat that? He says, philosophy is the enemy of truth. What? Philosophy is the enemy of truth. And when I say philosophy, I mean all philosophy. My own included, Rajni says. Why? Because philosophy creates a screen of words, and you cannot see reality as it is. Philosophy distorts reality. It interprets reality. It gives a garb, a covering to reality. It hides, it covers reality. Truth is naked. Truth is all over. Truth is within, truth is without, and the only barriers to truth are words, theories, theologies that you have learned. They don't allow you to see that which is. They get in the way. They come as prejudices. All philosophy is a prejudice, and all concepts are not bridges. No concept is a bridge. All concepts are barriers. Now, if you listen closely, it happens all the time with these revolutionaries. If you listen closely, a change will occur in you as you listen that will be permanent. It will be a transformation of the way we look at things, the way we have viewed things. If nothing like that happens during an entire weekend at this ashram, change ashrams. I mean it. I'm a revolutionary too. Because our guru, our teacher, was and is a revolutionary. And he's speaking through his disciples, through his students, through the kirtan. Our guru speaks. I mean, where else can you find gypsy kirtan other than here with Krishna, unless you're training people to give gypsy kirtan? She was the first. Gypsy kirtan, and a message comes through. That earthy kirtan. Our Hatha Yoga classes, everything that's here has the fragrance of this revolutionary. Sri Ramamurti Mishra, Sri Brahmananda Saraswati. And that's why he always asked, how many of you learned something new tonight? And I've been asking at the end of every program. If nothing, by the way, there's a program in New York once a month, the first Wednesday of every month. I have cards if you want to find out where. But at the end of that program, and a lot of people come, 50, 60 people come, I always say, how many of you learned something new this evening? And if there aren't 3/4 of the room with their hands up, I put that reading and I throw it out. I take it and I throw it out. But it's never true, because the readings that are chosen are readings from the masters he recommended. Truth is naked. Truth is all over. Truth is within and without. And the only barriers to truth are words, theories, theologies that you have learned. They don't allow you to see that which is. They get in the way. They are prejudices. All philosophy is a prejudice, and all concepts are not bridges. No concept is a bridge. Concepts are the barriers. One day or other, an authentic inquirer comes to that great moment of realization when he feels tired. She feels weary, tired of all the nonsense that goes on in the name of thinking. You know, the word God is not God. How long can you go on playing with the word God? The word food, is that food? The word food is not food. How long can you go on carrying the word food and remain hungry? One day or other, you'll become aware that what you are carrying is only a word. It cannot nourish you. It cannot give you life, and it cannot give you peace, and it cannot give you anything. Of course, it promises everything. That's how philosophy becomes so important, because of its promises. But all those promises are empty. You know all our politicians outside. I love Obama, but he promised a lot of things, and they did come to pass, but he promised a lot of other things, and they didn't come to pass. He promised, and a lot of people are disappointed. All politicians, whether they're sincere or insincere, promise the voters, you vote for me, you will get this, you will get that. It never happens like that. Don't fall for that, the promises. Because it's only a gimmick, a trick to get your vote. And in fact, I pay attention. The person who promises less is the one I prefer to vote for. I don't like too much promise. And that's why I felt Obama. Whom did he run against? I forgot already. McCain. Huh? No, not Dick Cheney. It sounded like Dick Cheney. But was it McCain? McCain. That's a man of promises. So we should not be so gullible, you know. The nonsense that goes on in the name of promises and thinking. He says, that's how philosophy became so important, because of its promises. But all these promises are empty. They are never fulfilled. Philosophy has never helped anybody to realize truth. This great moment of realization has come to Tzu Kung, and yet he was the chief disciple of Confucius. It said, Tzu Tsung grew weary of study. And if you're not weary now, because you're at this ashram, and this place is exciting, and the radios for Gurji, they're very exciting, because we're broadcasting. Oh, no wonder I felt like I was coming apart. Wait a minute, I'm not coming apart, only outside. I was on the line of truth. I was talking about growing weary. You may not be weary now, but there comes a time in every journey, every spiritual journey, on every journey, in every journey, when you get tired. Because it's hard, it's intense, and sometimes you just want to relax. But you're being driven on because of all the lifetimes of suffering that have gone before. There's something pushing, I don't care how young you are, there's something driving you towards release of suffering, yours and the suffering around you. So you will get tired, and if we keep repeating the same happening, we will get tired when we're much older. And that's the time that it's most important not to let go of your understanding, of your practice of witnessing, etc. Tzu Kung grew weary of study. To look is one thing. To study is diametrically opposite. If I say to you, go and see the rose flowers in the garden, and rather than going to the garden, you go to the library and you study about the roses, that's study about and about, around and around. Around and around it moves, it never touches the real point. So when Tzu Kung grew weary of study, it meant he was weary of the words, of the theories, the dogmas, enough of the doctrines. And this I call a great moment in the life of an inquirer. Everybody has to pass through words because we have been trained for words. Everybody has to pass through theories. We've been given theories from our very childhood. We've been brought up according to prejudices. Sometimes we would say, Gurji, aren't these words that we're listening to? He says, these are words to end words. These are okay. These are all right. They end words, these are good. What is truth? The moment you start asking what is truth, your mind starts supplying words. It knows the answers, but these answers are all false. Those answers are all borrowed, but it gives you beautiful answers. They satisfy you for a while, and if your inquiry is not great, they may satisfy you forever. Only a great inquirer sees the point that words are meaningless. Language is not the door towards reality. Silence is the door. The inner talk, the inner chatter in our minds must stop. Only then will you have clarity. Only then can reality reveal itself to you. You go on chattering inside, and your mind goes on functioning constantly, obsessively, like a maniac. And the mind is a maniac. Did you know that? It goes on creating new words, new combinations, new theories. It goes on speculating. It's a great inventor as far as theories are concerned, and it doesn't even allow you a single interval, a gap, to look at what's there. So that inner talk must stop. The Zen monks say, from the very beginning, the truth is unhidden. The truth is in front of you. What are you seeking? What are you running towards? But your eyes are closed because of your prejudices. Tzu Kung has learned much, and now he realizes that learning has not nourished him. It hasn't strengthened him. It hasn't delivered anything. It hasn't made him feel more real than he was before. He's not yet anywhere. He's still hollow. There's no integration. He does not know, in fact, who he is. So he became tired. Tzu Kung must have been a great inquirer. Even Confucius could not deceive him. Remember, he's his first disciple. I must tell you, so you'll be prepared for what he's about to say, Rajneesh didn't think much of Confucius. He liked Lao Tzu. He liked Li Tzu, Chuang Tzu. He liked the Taoist. He says, Confucius, he's a great scholar. He can supply answers for every question possible. Every question possible, he can supply answers. And he can invent beautiful answers. But all those answers are fabricated, homemade. They can fool fools. They can make many people feel, that they know. They can become consolations. And you know, his knowledge, Confucius, has respectability. His impeccable character is very much admired. Confucius is a man of virtue, remember, a very moral man, a man of character, of great mannerism, of great etiquette. Did you know that Confucius was a real gentleman? The gentleman is the goal of all Confucian philosophy. A man must become a gentleman, a lady, a lady. He is impeccable. You cannot find a loophole in his character. All virtues have become real in him. A moral man with great knowledge, supported by the tradition, convention, scripture, respected by the kings and the queens he was, respected all over the country. But even he could not deceive his chief disciple, Tzu Kung. Let me see if I can jump because I only have minutes. Have you watched it? The more you know of words, scriptures, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Gita, Quran, Bible, Vedas, the more you know, the more you will feel your mind is getting more and more mad. You're being pulled in so many directions. One theory says something, another theory says something else. They contradict each other. They're always at each other's throats. Great argument and no conclusion. Agreement happens. Well, I should read this. I can't leave anything out. For thousands of years, philosophers have been discussing. There has never been any conclusion on which they could all agree. There's never been any agreement. It hasn't happened, and it's not going to happen. Two philosophers cannot agree, because agreement is possible only when you know reality. Then there's agreement. If you know reality and I know reality, then there's agreement, because then there's no problem. Argumentation is non-conclusive. One argument leads to another, and so on, so forth. When two persons are arguing, I wanted to get to this story of Mullah Nasruddin. When two persons are arguing, both cannot be right, both cannot be wrong, but both cannot be right. When two persons are arguing, both cannot be right, both can be wrong, but both cannot be right. It happened this way. Mullah Nasruddin and his wife were arguing one day. The husband and wife argument. And it came to the natural conclusion that by and by, Mullah started feeling, why did I start this argument with her? The truth is he was feeling hungry, and his wife wasn't even thinking about cooking. Too busy arguing with him. So he decided the best thing to do is go to his wife and say, sorry, I confess I was wrong. The wife said, that won't do. You have to confess that I was right. Just your being in the wrong doesn't make much difference. No, you'll have to confess that I was right. Give a positive statement, because you may be wrong and still you may think inside yourself that I'm also wrong. So that's not of much use. Now what do you have to say? That's where the story ends. Both persons can be wrong, but remember, truth is one. Untruths can be as many as you want. I'm so sorry there's more, but maybe I'll finish it next week if you come back. It's exactly 20 after. I just want to have 1 minute for meditation, and then there are cookies here. Don't forget to take a cookie before you leave, in case you're not going over to the blue sky, or in case you're very hungry. And don't forget, if you want to come to the city programs, the cards are up here giving you information. And if you want other talks that have been given here, you can download them on the website you can find there. And also on November 6th in Wayne, New Jersey, there's going to be an all-day yoga event, and there's a flyer up here. I'll be giving the satsang, but there'll be hatha yoga all day long, and a vegetarian lunch. So take a deep breath, and now as you breathe out, release all the language, all the words. This will only be 60 seconds. So feel yourself letting go and opening up to this now. Feeling it, perceiving it, imbibing it. Sometimes it only takes 1 minute to reconnect with your real life, your real home. I am that I am. That is our home. Krishna Devi, would you lead us in our traditional prayer?